The Apache helicopter sat silent under the Nevada sun, its rotors still, casting long shadows across the tarmac at Nellis Air Force Base. Chief Warrant Officer Marcus Chen approached the aircraft at 3:45 p.m., his flight suit crisp despite the desert heat. He'd flown thousands of hours in birds just like this one, but today, something felt different. The base was buzzing with rumors about a joint training exercise, something big that involved SEALs, Rangers, and Delta Force. As he rounded the tail rotor, he stopped short. A young woman in Navy fatigues was crouched beneath the fuselage, meticulously cleaning the landing gear with a focus that seemed almost excessive for routine maintenance. Before we begin, tell us in the comments where in the world you're watching from. Marcus watched her for a moment, curious. Female SEALs were rare, though not unheard of anymore, but something about her intensity caught his attention. She couldn't have been more than 25, with her dark hair pulled back tight and grease smudging her cheek. Her hands moved with practiced precision, but her eyes kept darting toward the horizon as if she were expecting something or someone. "That's my bird you're working on," Marcus called out, his voice friendly but cautious. The woman stood quickly, almost too quickly, and snapped a salute. "Sir, Petty Officer First Class Maya Reeves. Just doing routine inspection before the exercise." Her voice was steady, professional, but Marcus noticed her left hand was trembling slightly. He returned the salute and stepped closer, his trained eye scanning the helicopter. "Everything looked perfect, maybe too perfect. I don't usually get SEAL ground crew," he said, trying to keep his tone light. "You drawing the short straw or something?" Maya's jaw tightened for just a fraction of a second before she smiled. "Something like that, sir. Just making sure everything's ready for tomorrow's operation." As she turned to gather her cleaning supplies, the afternoon sun caught her shoulder at just the right angle. Marcus froze. There, partially visible beneath her rolled sleeve, was a patch he hadn't seen in over a decade. It was small, unofficial, the kind of thing only a handful of people would recognize. A black eagle with red talons set against a gray background. "Operation Phantom Ridge," his heart began to pound. "Where did you get that patch?" Marcus asked, his voice suddenly sharp. Maya's entire body went rigid. She pulled her sleeve down quickly, but it was too late. Her eyes met his, and in them, Marcus saw fear mixed with something else. Recognition. "I don't know what you're talking about, sir," she said, but her voice had lost its steadiness. Marcus felt his throat tighten. Operation Phantom Ridge had been buried, classified so deep that even mentioning it could end a career. It was a mission in Afghanistan back in 2013, a rescue operation that had gone catastrophically wrong. Only 4 people had made it out alive, and Marcus had been one of them. But there had been a 5th person on that mission, a translator, a young Afghan girl who had helped them escape. Her name had been Mariam. "Mariam?" Marcus whispered, the name feeling strange on his tongue after so many years. Maya's eyes widened, and for a moment, she looked like she might run. Then her shoulders sagged, and she glanced around to make sure they were alone. "My name is Maya now," she said quietly. "I was 12 years old when you pulled me out of that compound. You and your team saved my life." Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. The memories came flooding back. The firefight in the mountains, the Taliban closing in, and the little girl who had risked everything to guide them through the tunnels beneath the village. They'd promised to get her out, to get her to America, but after the mission was classified, he'd lost track of what happened to her. "They told us you were placed with a family in Virginia," Marcus said, his voice thick with emotion. Maya nodded, her eyes glistening. "The Reeves family adopted me. They were good people, gave me everything, but I never forgot what you did. I joined the Navy as soon as I could. Made it through Bud S 2 years ago." She paused, her voice dropping to barely a whisper. "But that's not why I'm here, Marcus. Something's wrong with tomorrow's exercise." The use of his first name sent a chill down his spine. "What do you mean?" he asked. Maya glanced at the Apache, then back at him. 3 days ago, I was doing security sweeps in the operations building. I overheard 2 contractors talking in a storage room. They didn't know I was there. They mentioned tomorrow's exercise, said something about a payload switch and coordinates that didn't match the official flight plan. When I tried to report it through channels, I was told to stand down, that it was above my clearance level. Marcus felt ice in his veins. Why come to me? Why not go to your command? Maya's expression hardened. Because one of the voices I heard belonged to Commander Hastings, my direct superior. I didn't know who else to trust. Then I saw you were listed as one of the Apache pilots for tomorrow's mission. I remembered your name, remembered that patch you gave me before we left Afghanistan. You told me if I ever needed help, to find someone wearing that eagle. So I wore mine hoping you'd see it. Marcus's mind raced. Commander Hastings was a decorated officer, but Marcus had heard whispers over the years, rumors of weapons deals and classified tech ending up in the wrong hands. If Maya was right, tomorrow's exercise could be a cover for something far more dangerous. What exactly did you hear? He asked. Maya pulled out her phone, shielding the screen from the sun. I recorded it. The audio's not great, but you can hear them talking about redirecting one of the Apaches to a different grid reference. They mentioned a buyer and a demonstration. Marcus, I think they're planning to steal military technology or weapons during the chaos of the exercise. Marcus listened to the scratchy recording, his blood running cold. The voices were distorted, but the words were clear enough. Coordinates, payment, extraction. This wasn't just theft. This was treason. We need to take this to base security right now, Marcus said. Maya shook her head. I already tried. The security chief is Colonel Morrison. He and Hastings go way back. When I submitted an anonymous tip, it disappeared from the system within an hour. That's when I knew this goes higher than just one person. The sun was beginning to set, painting the desert sky in shades of orange and purple. Marcus looked at the young woman before him, seeing both the frightened child from 12 years ago and the warrior she'd become. Okay, he said finally. If they're planning to use my Apache, then we change the plan. Tomorrow, during the exercise, I'll be watching every coordinate, every order. If anything seems off, I'll abort. But you need to stay safe. If these people realize you know something, you're in danger. Maya's jaw set with determination. I didn't survive Afghanistan just to hide when things get dangerous. I can help. I'm assigned to ground support tomorrow. I can monitor communications, watch for anything unusual. Marcus wanted to argue, but he saw himself in her eyes, that same stubborn courage that had kept them both alive all those years ago. The next morning arrived with a blood-red sunrise. At 6:30 a.m., the base erupted with activity as personnel prepared for the massive training exercise. Marcus ran his pre-flight checks with extra care, looking for anything out of place, any sign that his Apache had been tampered with. Maya appeared at 7:15 a.m., pushing a fuel cart, her eyes meeting his briefly with a silent message. Stay alert. The exercise began at 800 hours. Marcus lifted off his wingman to his right as they headed toward the designated training area in the Nevada desert. For the first hour, everything proceeded normally. Simulated targets, practice runs, radio chatter that matched the mission brief. Then, at 9:42 a.m., his radio crackled with new orders. Apache 7, this is command. Redirect to grid reference 37942 for special payload demonstration. Marcus's hand tightened on the control stick. That wasn't in the original flight plan. Command, requesting confirmation. Grid 37942 was not in the mission brief. Marcus responded, his voice calm but firm. There was a pause, then Commander Hastings's voice came through, smooth and authoritative. Confirmed Apache 7. Last-minute addition for VIP observers. You're carrying the new targeting system they want to see demonstrated. Marcus's mind raced. The new targeting system was highly classified, worth millions on the black market. He glanced at his co-pilot, Lieutenant Sarah Park, and saw her frowning at her navigation screen. Sir, those coordinates put us near the old mining facility, 30 miles outside the exercise boundary, she said quietly over the internal comms. Marcus made his decision. Command, we're experiencing a minor hydraulic pressure fluctuation. Requesting return to base for diagnostics. He didn't wait for approval before banking the Apache back toward Nellis. The radio exploded with chatter. Hastings's voice came back, harder now with an edge of desperation. Negative, Apache 7. Continue to designated coordinates. That's a direct order. Marcus switched to the emergency frequency, the one monitored by actual base command, not exercise control. Nellis Tower, this is Apache 7 declaring an emergency. Possible unauthorized mission parameters. Requesting immediate investigation of exercise command authority. The silence that followed lasted only seconds before chaos erupted over multiple frequencies. On the ground, Maya had been listening to everything through her ground crew headset.